time never forgets. It remembers every promise, every touch, every loss. The world may move forward, but some souls are bound to the past, chained by love, pulled by fate. Thunder rolls in the distance, the sound of footsteps through wet grass, and for them, the journey is never over. Cut to the faint outline of standing stones glowing in mist. The hum grows louder. A soft female gasp, closing parenthesis, it's strange. How silence can carry the weight of centuries. Every drop of rain, every whisper of wind, it feels like the land remembers us, as if it's waiting for our return. A flash of lightning reveals a battlefield long forgotten. The faint sound of bagpipes drifts through the fog. I thought we had left it behind, the war, the blood, the ghosts of time. But history doesn't forget so easily. It calls out when you least expect it. Cut to a candle flickering beside an old letter. Ink bleeds into paper. A shadow moves in the background. Sometimes I dream of the stones glowing, alive, pulling me toward them. I hear the echoes of a voice I can't escape. Jamie's voice. Calling across the ages. Music begins to rise, soft violin and low drum beat. The visuals remain faceless. Hands gripping soil, boots sinking into mud. A locket opening. Every heartbeat takes me closer. Closer to the moment I swore would never return. I know what lies beyond those stones. I know what it costs to answer their call. And still, I feel them pulling me home. A gust of wind sweeps across the moor. The stones begin to glow brighter. The hum deepens. Low, ancient, alive. Maybe it's madness. Maybe it's fate. But when time calls your name, you cannot pretend not to hear. Screen cuts to black. The hum fades out, leaving silence and a heartbeat. Peace is never promised to those who have walked through time. For every calm moment, there is a storm waiting, silent, patient, inevitable. Cinematic cut. Waves crash against the Scottish coast. A storm brews above Fraser's Ridge. A lantern flickers in a dark cabin. The door creaks open to emptiness. I thought we had found our place here. A moment to breathe. But the past, it doesn't rest. It waits. It watches. The faint sound of distant drums grows, echoing like footsteps of soldiers long gone. Shadows move across the walls. The world beyond our walls is breaking again. Wars are rising. Voices are shouting for freedom or vengeance. It's hard to tell the difference anymore. Quick flashes, a musket loading. A letter sealed with wax, a torn tartan soaked in rain. Jamie carries it all, the weight of promises. Of men who look to him for hope. He says it's just another fight, but I can see it in his eyes, even when I can't see his face. The fear of losing everything again, sound of heavy rain. A child's laughter echoes briefly, then stops. A distant gunshot. Silence. The lines between then and now blur more each day. The redcoats march again, those centuries have passed. The fire that once burned the highlands now burns in our hearts. And still the stones whisper that this is only the beginning. Camera drifts across the battlefield, not of men, but of memories. Broken swords buried in earth. A torn letter half covered in mud. A woman's ring glinting in the dirt. History is not done with us. It's coming back dressed in new faces, carrying old wounds. And when it finds us, thunder strikes. The sound of bagpipes swells faintly under the rain. We will have to choose again between love and survival, between the past and the future. Visual. A hand closes around a blood-stained letter. The candlelight flickers, and the frame fades to black. Soft music transition. Low cello. A fading heartbeat. They say time heals all wounds. But time has never known love like ours. It doesn't heal. It hides. It waits until you breathe again, and then it reminds you of what you lost. Visuals. A hand brushing across a wooden table where two cups once sat. A locket swinging slowly in sunlight. A feather caught in wind. Every dawn I wake expecting to see him. The warmth, the quiet smile, the heartbeat that steadied mine. But all I find is silence, the kind that knows your name. The hum of the stones returns faintly, this time softer, almost like a sigh. Sometimes I wonder, was it love that pulled us through time? Or was it punishment for loving too deeply? Because every moment we were given came with a cost, a sacrifice written in centuries. Cut to slow motion imagery, waves washing over footprints. A letter tied with ribbon, firelight flickering over an empty chair, he once told me. Even if time stands against us, I'll find you. I used to believe that was a promise. Now I know it was a curse we both chose. A single raindrop hits a ring lying on stone. The sound echoes like a tear falling into still water. Our love was never made for one lifetime. It stretches across ages, bending the rules of history, burning through wars and silence. But the more it endures, the more it hurts, because time always takes what it gives. Cinematic montage, shadows of two figures walking hand in hand through fog. The sound of laughter fading into static. A close-up of hands parting in slow motion. And yet, even knowing the pain, I would cross it all again. The years, the battles, the heartbreak, I would cross them just to find him once more. Soft violin rises. The screen darkens slowly as mist fills the frame. Because love doesn't end. It only waits. In the quiet between heartbeats, silence. Only the wind remains. A faint echo of a heartbeat fades into the distance. Time feels different now. Slower. Heavier. As if the air itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to break. Visuals. Shadows stretching across the wooden floor. A map half burned at the edges. Drops of wax falling onto parchment. There are whispers again. Voices I don't recognize, yet somehow they know my name. They come from dreams I don't remember having. Clock ticks backward. A glass shatters in slow motion. The sound of wind carries faint laughter, ghostly, gentle, haunting. I see places I've never been, faces I can't recall. And sometimes, when the night grows too quiet, I feel the stones calling again, stronger. Louder, desperate, the hum returns. Low and deep, almost like a heartbeat buried beneath the earth. I told myself I wouldn't go back, that I couldn't survive another lifetime. But time isn't asking anymore. It's pulling. Cut to faceless imagery. Boots stepping into mud. A key turning in an old lock. Lightning striking a lonely hill. The hum intensifies. The world I know is fading like ink left out in the rain. The boundaries between centuries are cracking. Yesterday bleeds into tomorrow, and I can't tell which side I'm standing on. Music builds. A low cello, slow drums, whispering winds. The scene cuts to a hand reaching through a veil of mist, trembling. It's Jamie. Once said every path we take leads us back to where we began. Maybe that's true? Maybe time is not a line, but a circle. And we're trapped inside it, chasing the same heartbeat through endless years. Lightning flashes. The screen flickers with glimpses of war, of fire, of faces in shadow, then stillness. But this time, something feels different. The future isn't waiting for us anymore. It's coming fast and furious, as if it already knows our fate. The hum of the stones grows so loud it distorts the air. Then, a sharp cut to silence. And when it arrives, will love be enough to stop it? Screen fades to black. Only the faint ticking of the clock remains backward, slowing, then stopping. In the silence between heartbeats, that's where I find him. Not in the past, not in the future, but somewhere in the space where time holds its breath. Visuals, candlelight flickers on wet stone. A gold ring lies on an open palm. A shadow moves through fog. The hum of the stones returns, softer now, almost like a lullaby. They say destiny is written in stars, but ours was carved in stone. Every choice, every tear, every goodbye, written by hands older than fate itself. Soft violin swells. The camera glides over misty hills, revealing an empty path winding toward the stones. Rain begins to fall, light, silver, timeless. I've crossed centuries to be with him. I've lost worlds, gained scars, and still I stand, waiting for time to open its doors again. Quick flashes, a clock shattering into sand. A hand reaching out, barely touching another. Firelight flickering across a blood-stained letter. The shadow of two figures turning toward each other through the mist. The future isn't promised. The past isn't gone. Somewhere between them, love waits, like a ghost that refuses to fade. Music rises, drums, violins, bagpipes, blending into one haunting swell. The hum deepens until it becomes a pulse. Maybe this is the end. Or maybe it's the beginning we were always meant to find. A lightning flash white screen, then the faint silhouette of the standing stones glowing alive. The hum peaks, because when love defies time, pause. Nothing is ever truly over. Screen fades to black, silence, then one final heartbeat. The title appears in white letters. Outlander, Season 8, The Final Journey begins. Soft, Celtic chime. The STARZ logo fades in. End. The world feels different now. Lighter, yet lonelier. As if time itself has forgotten its rhythm. The sun rises, but the days don't move. The moon falls, but the night refuses to end. Visuals, a flickering candle, a quill writing on parchment by unseen hands. Pages turning themselves in an old book. I thought we escaped the circle, that we'd outrun the curse of the stones. But sometimes I see it in reflections. In the shimmer of water, in the shine of glass. Another life, another me, staring back. A faint sound, the same heartbeat from before, echoing backward. It's slow, deep, and unsettling. Maybe time isn't a path. Maybe it's a mirror, showing us what we were, what we might become, what we can never change. Cinematic cut. A hand touching an old photograph that suddenly fades. A shadow crossing the floor where no one stands. Every sound feels familiar. Every silence feels planned, as if the future is whispering, reminding me that every end was already written in the beginning.
Music shifts. Violins swell in reverse.
Raindrops fall upward. The stones hum faintly, but this time their light is colder, blue instead of gold. Jamie once said, "Fate bends for no one," but I've seen it bend. I've seen it break. I've seen love drag destiny to its knees. Quick flashes, a ring sinking into water, a book burning slowly. Two silhouettes walking through fog but fading before they meet. A voice whispering, "Come back." If this is the price of love, to live the same story in every lifetime, then I will pay it again, because I'd rather drown in time than live without him. The heartbeat grows faster, louder, until it's almost thunder. The screen trembles as light spills across the frame. The future isn't waiting anymore. It's here and it remembers everything. A sudden silence. The heartbeat stops. The candle goes out. Only darkness remains. Time moves on. But love stays where we left it, waiting, watching, whispering our names into the wind. Visuals. Mist rolling over the moor, petals floating across a river. A single candle relit by unseen hands. Maybe this is what forever truly means. Not endless days, but endless echoes. Not immortality, but memory. Silhouette kneels beside a gravestone. The camera never shows the face. The ring is placed upon the stone. Fingers tremble and slowly pull away. I've learned that every goodbye hides a promise. That one day, somewhere we'll find our way back. Because love doesn't end where time does. It just changes shape. Soft strings rise, distant, aching. The hum of the stones begins again, faint and ethereal. I used to fear the stones. The way they pulled, the way they chose who could pass and who could stay. But now I understand, they were never doors. They were memories, and we were the story they were trying to tell. Cinematic cuts. Pages of a journal closing. A hand brushing across carved initials in old wood. A sky filled with swirling clouds glowing faintly gold. Jamie once told me that time could not keep us apart. I used to think he meant it as comfort. Now, I know he meant it as truth. Music swells gently, bagpipes, cello, soft drum beats blending into one final rise. The glow of the stones brightens until everything fades into white light. Wherever time leads, I'll find him. Pause because love, real love, never fades. It waits. Silence. The screen slowly fades to black. Then one final whisper, barely audible. Outlander. Forever. Title reappears. Outlander Season 8, the final journey begins. Soft hum fades out. End.